Hello, today we are joined by Caroline Rushforth, who is a new presenter to the NLP conference. It's lovely to have you with us. Yay! Caroline, as I said, you're a new presenter, and you have actually got one of our exclusive slots on the Thursday prior to the conference, which is all very exciting. And your presentation is Freedom from Anxiety using Wingwave Coaching. So I'm very curious. Do tell us a bit more about yourself and your presentation.
Thank you. So, about me, I've been in the personal development world probably for about a good 15, 20 years when I sort of went on my own personal journey, as we all do. And my particular topic and issue is actually around the area of emotional eating. And I tried so many different modalities and ways and things. And things worked and I noticed some small changes, but my big thing was food cravings, like particularly chocolate. So I tried all of these different just like on an endless quest to try and find that kind of bullet kind of to help. And despite sort of 15 years of up and down and yo-yo dieting and everything, I finally experienced Wingwave, and it was absolutely life-changing. And from what was a 15-year personal development journey turned into about an hour and a half of complete transformation just through the technique of Wingwave.
Wow.
So that's completely unrelated to anxiety. However, I do actually work in the area of emotional eating, and it is definitely a topic that I cover. But I find I get just the most joy in, and to be honest, it was the most clients I got, it always seemed to be anxiety, negative thinking, low level depression, that kind of area. And so really my clients were my teachers, because they'd come to me and I'd be like, right, okay, I really need to learn how to work with this area and this topic, and really just sort of through my own experience and time, I just became an expert in it. And so, and I get great fulfillment from helping people with anxiety issues and anxiety topics. And obviously, that's covered quite broadly in the area of stress and overwhelm and burdens and burnout. I think people are having to consistently do a lot of things at the same time, getting plates. Some people, it's like family and children and work. Then for the younger generation, it's social media and having to sort of keep up and compare and comparison, and it's like the mind just becomes overwhelmed with this need to kind of fit the narrative, or to be fulfilled, or to want to please others. And I found that the pattern of people, certainly in the area of anxiety, were generally the overachievers. The people who really like to, reach their goals, but actually sometimes their goals were just too high that they would then procrastinate. They were too unrealistic. So primarily I work with those types of clients, but also clients who have had talking therapies and they're just not really feeling like something shifted. And as we know in NLP, amazing shifts can take place by using, our internal representation system. So I couple NLP with Wingwave Coaching, which makes a beautiful intervention. And I call it advanced coaching because that's what it is.
Perfect. It sounds, and anxiety nowadays, especially post-pandemic, well, we hope post-pandemic, I think many more people are experiencing that in different forms, aren't they? In forms that they may not have even anticipated prior to 2020.
Exactly. And, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. And, the two primary fears that I've come to sort of see connected to anxiety is fear of not being in control and fear of not being safe. And those are like the two predominant fears. And then obviously there are fears within that, but it's really kind of working with those two areas. Obviously I can talk a bit more about that either on my presentation or now. I'm not sure whether you want me
to save it for the presentation. It sounds very intriguing. But yes, I mean, it's such a huge area, isn't it? So what will delegates take away from your session?
So delegates will gain knowledge about the impact of unprocessed emotion, both in the physical and mental body. Participants will gain an understanding about how spikes of arousal in the brain cause long-term mental health challenges, such as anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and phobias. They'll also learn about the function of neurons and neural pathways and how they can create subconscious healing when used with Wingwave coaching. And also I'll be diving into the right brain, left brain, logic via emotion areas and what happens when it's out of balance. They'll gain a knowledge and understanding about the healthy function of the vagus nerve and the impact on well-being. Yeah. They'll also learn some tools and techniques to use with clients in the area of stress and anxiety, and an understanding of one of the most highly advanced and effective techniques in coaching when combined with NLP.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I'll try and get it all done in 45 minutes.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, it's good for people to understand, you know, the benefits of what they're coming to listen to. So that's superb. So is there anything that delegates can do beforehand that will give them a deeper experience of your session at the conference?
Absolutely. So I've got a YouTube channel where there are Wingwave demos on there. So that's obviously Caroline Rushforth on YouTube. Also, if you go to my website, www.carolinerushforth.com, and then there's an area under services, Wingwave Coaching. So about Wingwave Coaching and also about Wingwave training. I also train other coaches, therapists, practitioners and psychologists in this amazing technique. And also there is a Wingwave book that can be bought from Amazon. So we finally have a book in English. It's taken quite a while. Wingwave is actually a very new technique really to UK. Europe, it's much bigger, about 8,000 coaches internationally.
Right.
So we're really kind of looking to build that up here in the UK.
Yeah.
Further information also on the training. And also how to use Wingwave online is one of the areas that I cover as well in my Wingwave training.
Okay. And what's the book called?
It's called Wingwave Coaching.
That's what it says on the tin then? That's that's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's written by Cora Besser-Segmund, and she is one of the co-psychologists who created this amazing technique.
Okay.
So there's further reading there. But to be honest, if you type Wingwave Coaching into Google, you know, there's quite a lot of information on there. Most of it in English is probably done by me, but there are obviously other coaches around who will have their own websites as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you. So, I mean, we've said, you know, the conference next year is virtual, as it was this year, and probably very wise that it's virtual next year. So how are you planning to add value in a virtual environment?
So it will be a mixture of presentation, interaction, and using the imagination.
Always good.
Maybe a few metaphors chucked in for good measure.
Perfect. Yeah. That sounds brilliant, and I think it's lovely to do that. You know, for delegates to be able to do that sort of thing from the comfort of their own home. Because
and you know, like interaction's so much better when you're a trainer. You know, you want people to interact, and you know, you can bounce off of people when that happens, rather than it just being death by PowerPoint or death by slides.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we were saying, you know, you're new to the conference as a presenter, which is lovely, and it's something that we do like to encourage every year, is having that balance between the people that are well known in NLP and those that are equally well known but new to the conference. So we are thrilled to have you. So what does I mean, obviously you haven't actually attended as a presenter yet, but what does the NLP conference mean to you?
Well, like I said, you know, as we were having a little chat beforehand, I really was looking forward to the face-to-face conference, but obviously, you know, that everything got cancelled, you know, to just kind of the connection internationally, you know, I love that sort of international connection, obviously seeing a few familiar faces, connecting and making friends and connections with people from all over the world, and learning things. You know, we can all learn from one another, and I think it's always really interesting listening to other people's kind of, you know, perception of NLP and also how they're applying NLP in different ways, because it's such a broad subject and topic. So it's always really inspiring to, you know, listen to how other people are applying NLP and, you know, the other interventions and modalities it can be used with as well, a bit like
absolutely.
So it's very adaptable.
Yeah, exactly, and that is the beauty of NLP, isn't it? Is that it is so flexible, and it can be NLP and
yes, exactly. Yeah, and I just, you know, I always, obviously NLP can be used for the greater good I mean, should be used for the greater good, and that's exactly what it should be used for, but sometimes it can be used in a negative way. And if people really just understood about how the mind works and also about good communication, the world would be a better place, you know.
Oh gosh, yes.
If people just knew how to communicate with each other, imagine that would have. So
exactly, yes, we might even end up with world peace.
yes, I know, you never know. Somewhere.
Keep putting it out there.
Yeah.
So thank you, Caroline. So just to remind everybody, Caroline is presenting her freedom from anxiety using Wingwave Coaching, and you're actually presenting on Thursday, the 19th of May, my brother's birthday, at 19:30. That's 19:30 BST, because we'll be back in the summer by then, thank goodness. It's a 45-minute presentation, so it's going to be very well focused, I think. But that's just almost a beautiful antipasti moment into the conference. So thank you, Caroline. Really looking forward to your presentation next May.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Karen, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in May.